Here is an in-depth report of Ohio government actions I could verify for July 21, 2026, based on the available results. The strongest confirmed statewide action was the Ohio Supreme Court's daily opinions and case announcements, while the other clearly dated items were local government actions, an Ohio EPA-related development referenced by a state senator, and state executive branch activity reported in a government bulletin. 258. Major state government actions. The Ohio Supreme Court issued its daily archive entry for July 21, 2026, including 3 notable actions. It accepted Chervenak Family Trust v. Ascent Resources Utica, L.L.C. for review, and it decided State v. Lash. 2. In State v. Lash, the court held that the trial court's reasons for denying DNA testing were sufficient because the court cited the state law requirement that must be met before testing can be ordered. 2. The result is significant because it confirms a relatively limited explanation standard for trial courts when denying post-conviction DNA testing requests. 2. The Ohio Environmental Protection Agency appears to have taken a major permitting action affecting data centers and wastewater discharge because State Senator Kent Smith stated on July 21 that the agency rejected a permit that would have allowed data centers to discharge wastewater into state waterways. 5. The search result is a senator's statement rather than the agency order itself. So the confirmed fact is that the permit was rejected and that the rejection was being publicly discussed by an Ohio senator on that date. 5. Executive branch and state policy actions. A state government bulletin reported that Governor Mike DeWine had signed Senate Bill 450, the state's biennial capital appropriations budget. 8. The bulletin says the bill allocates nearly $4 billion for maintenance, renovation, and construction of state-owned infrastructure, including colleges, universities, school districts, and other community projects. 8. Because the bulletin is dated in the same reporting window and specifically describes the signing as a recent action. It is a major Ohio executive branch action tied to capital spending priorities. 8. The same bulletin also reported an Ohio Department of Children and Youth event. L.T. Governor Jim Tressel and DCY Director Cara Wente joined hundreds of fathers and children at the Columbus All-Pro Dad Experience at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. 8. That was a public-facing state partnership event. Not a legislative action, but it is a confirmed Ohio government event on or near July 21. 8. Legislative activity. I did not find a clearly documented Ohio General Assembly floor session, committee vote, or enacted bill passage for July 21 itself in the supplied results. The clearest legislative development in the results is Governor DeWine's signing of Senate Bill 450, which means the bill had already completed the legislature's work before becoming law. 8. The only other legislative-type item in the results is a WISO report mentioning that 2 Ohio bills would establish statewide K-12 food literacy and nutrition standards, with participation remaining optional. 6. However, the result does not identify passage, a hearing, or a committee action on July 21. So it is better treated as policy reporting about pending legislation rather than confirmed legislative action for that date. 6. Enforcement, regulatory, and court-related actions. The most important enforcement/regulatory development was the Ohio EPA permit rejection affecting data center wastewater discharge. As noted above. 5. Because the underlying order is not included in the search results. The exact permit applicant, permit number, and specific statutory basis are not confirmed here. 5. The Ohio Supreme Court's State v. Lash decision also has a quasi-enforcement character, in the sense that it governs post-conviction procedure used by defendants seeking DNA testing, but it is fundamentally a judicial ruling rather than an enforcement action. 2. Local government actions that occurred on July 21. Centerville City Council scheduled a special meeting for Tuesday, July 21, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. in the Kingseed Law Library of the Centerville Municipal Building. 4. The stated purpose was to consider entering executive session to discuss a personnel matter, and the notice said no formal action was anticipated after the executive session. 4. This is a municipal government action, but the notice does not show a final decision or vote. 4. Sycamore Township also posted a notice for a Board of Trustees meeting on Tuesday, July 21, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. at the Sycamore Township Administration Building. 3. The notice additionally referenced a public hearing on the tax budget for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2027, to be held at 5:50 p.m. on July 7, 2026, which is not a July 21 event and therefore should not be counted as a July 21 action. 3. The confirmed July 21 item is the trustees' scheduled meeting notice. 3. What could not be fully confirmed from the available results, I could not verify a comprehensive list of all Ohio state or local government actions for July 21, 2026. Because the supplied results are partial and skew heavily towards selected news coverage, one court archive entry, and a few government notices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10. I also could not confirm the exact text of the Ohio EPA order, the full contents of Senate Bill 450, or whether the local meetings resulted in formal votes. Because those details were not included in the accessible results. 458, if you want, I can turn this into a stricter chronological timeline for July 21, 2026, or separate it into statewide versus local, Ohio government actions only.